Bethany, I have one question for you this week. The media is trying to sell a hostage deal. Hamas will not turn over the list. Joe Biden is putting pressure on Bibi. Kamala Harris slipped and put pressure on Bibi. Hamas is not negotiating. Do you think America knows that, given the coverage of this?
No, so Kamala's statements yesterday were really strange. She was giving a speech in Selma, Alabama, and she said, "We need a ceasefire," and the whole crowd went, "Woo!" And then she shifted and said, "There is a hostage deal on the table and Hamas needs to accept it," and there were crickets. So it seemed like she was trying to play both sides of the coin, but all of the clips that she posted online were her sort of pushing Israel for a ceasefire deal. But then in the next breath, which she wasn't publicizing those clips on her personal social media, she was then talking about how the ball is in Hamas's court. But what's interesting is Sinwar hasn't been heard from in a week. So they're not able to make a deal without his okay. And the last time he communicated to the hostage negotiators, he said, slow roll it, basically, because I want the fighting to continue. This is a war Hamas wanted. This is a war Hamas started. They want to continue it. And he said, I want to keep going into Ramadan to try to spur the Palestinian people into an uprising against Israel. If it hasn't happened already, my friend, it's not going to. But this is a war of Hamas's choosing, and they want to keep it rolling.
Now, I am all in favor of humanitarian aid if it can get to people who are starving. I'm not in favor of the airdrops that the United States are doing because I can't imagine us, and I think I want to find out if you agree with my analogy. I think it's like airdropping food and MREs into Berlin in March of 1945. You know who's not going to get that? The displaced person and the people hiding in the cellar. The Nazis are going to get it, right?
Yeah. No, what's hysterical is there were videos of people opening those packages on camera. They taped themselves. There's Skittles in them. We're dropping Skittles into a Hamas stronghold. What are we doing? It feels as though they don't know what they're doing.
Well, it feels like someone called the Pentagon and said, drop something into Gaza so we show Dearborn that we care. That's what it feels like.
That is 100% it. Yeah, 100%. And what's wild to me is I think they're overestimating what happened in Michigan with that opt-out vote. It was not this like sort of rounding denouncement of Biden's foreign policy as people are making it seem in the mainstream media. There have always been a lot of opt-outs. And if you look back and you compare the opt-out versus Obama when he was an incumbent versus now, it's not that much different. And it can be explained by the fact that Biden is a man that nobody wants to vote for. He probably doesn't even want to vote for himself. He doesn't want to do this for another 4 years.
I want to hear your expectations for Thursday night, and I want to frame it this way. George W. Bush knocked it out of the park after 9/11. That's when he named the axis of evil, his State of the Union, not the we meet in the middle hour of our grief at National Cathedral. His second best speech, maybe his third, the surge speech was second, came at the State of the Union. Bill Clinton always killed it, went on forever. He had to be ready to go for 3 hours. The bar is so low for Joe Biden. Will he get over that very low bar on Thursday night, Bethany?
It depends on what kind of amphetamines they can give him to wake him up. I mean, I'm just going to be honest and really frank. It's past sunset, and that's notoriously not a great time for elderly individuals who have a lot of cognitive issues. Heck, I don't even have great, main brain power after sunset. But I don't have high expectations. He's better with a teleprompter when people tell him what to say, but it's hard to feign that sort of level of presence that he has not had in a long time.
Yeah, I think staying upright and getting through the speech will be a win. But I got to tell you, I don't write at night for that reason, Bethany. I don't know if you do, but I write in the morning, and I write right after the show because it's the only time to actually hit the on button hard after you're rested. And he's taken most of the week off, and I don't blame him. He's got a rough for an 81-year-old man to give a 2-hour speech, a 3-hour effort. I'm setting the bar at if he gets out of there without making a massive mistake, it's a win. Agree?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think it's going to be a really tough lift for him.